So here's the million-dollar question. Am I self-hating if I don't date Asian women? The short answer, no. The long answer, buckle up, because this one's going to sting a little, especially if you're the type to cling to cultural guilt like it's your favorite comfort blanket. Let's start with the basics. Where does this question even come from? Why do people feel entitled to dictate who Asian men should date? Or worse, assign moral judgment based on it? It's like the world collectively decided we're cultural mascots who owe something to our team. Spoiler alert, we don't. We're not here to satisfy some imaginary checklist of racial loyalty. We're here to live our lives unapologetically. Internalized racism, the catch-all accusation for any Asian man who dares to date outside his race. The logic goes like this. If you date non-Asian women, you must secretly hate yourself. You must think Asian women aren't good enough, or that white women, or insert any other race, are inherently better. Let's unpack that nonsense. First off, dating preferences are. They're shaped by a million different factors: upbringing, environment, attraction, shared interests, and yes, sometimes even exposure. If I grew up in a predominantly non-Asian area, guess what? My dating pool reflects that. It's not rocket science, it's geography. But here's the kicker. Why is it that when an Asian guy dates out, he's accused of self-hate? But when an Asian woman dates out, it's celebrated as empowerment. It's like society has this weird selective morality, and Asian men are stuck at the bottom of the hypocrisy pile. Asian women dating non-Asian men is framed as them breaking stereotypes or broadening their horizons. But when we do it, suddenly we're traitors to the race. Make it make sense. Let's talk about this glaring double standard. Asian women are the poster children for diversity in dating. They're praised for stepping outside cultural norms and seen as the exotic prize that men of all races desire. Meanwhile, Asian men were cast as the leftovers, the beta males who couldn't get a white woman if our lives depended on it. So, when an Asian guy dates out, people assume it's some kind of validation-seeking move. But why is it always about validation? Why can't it just be about connection? Here's the truth. The dating game isn't rigged in our favor. From media to societal stereotypes, Asian men have been dealt a bad hand. We've been typecast as nerdy, asexual, submissive, or worse, totally invisible. And these narratives don't just hurt us. They mess with everyone's perception. Non-Asian women absorb them, Asian women absorb them, and sometimes even we absorb them. But let's flip the script for a second. If Asian men are constantly being told they're at the bottom of the dating totem pole, why wouldn't they look for validation elsewhere? Is it self-hating to want to be seen, appreciated and desired? Or is it just human? And let's not pretend Asian women dating out is always about love and connection. Sometimes it's fetishization, sometimes it's chasing status, sometimes it's plain old internalized racism. The difference? Society doesn't question their motives, but for us, we're put under a microscope and dissected like a science project. Let's get real about dating in today's world. It's a market, plain and simple. Attraction is currency, and everyone's bringing something to the table. For Asian men, the cards are stacked against us from the start. Thanks to decades of media emasculation, we're seen as less masculine, less desirable, and less fun than our peers. That's the perception we're up against every day. But here's the thing. If I bring value to the table, confidence, fitness, success, charisma, and a non-Asian woman recognizes that, why should I apologize? Am I supposed to reject her interest just to make someone else feel better about themselves? Attraction isn't charity. It's not about ticking boxes to appease cultural gatekeepers. It's about connection, compatibility, and yes, sometimes just being in the right place at the right time. Now, let's address the guilt trip. The idea that if you don't date Asian women, you're somehow rejecting your culture. Look, I respect my heritage, I love my family, my traditions, my food. Okay, maybe not the food, but my dating life isn't some cultural PR campaign. I'm not picking a partner to preserve some ancient lineage or to satisfy anyone else's expectations. If I date a non-Asian woman, it doesn't mean I'm ashamed of being Asian. It means I found someone I connect with. End of story. My relationships are about me, my values, my happiness, not some imaginary scoreboard. And let's not ignore the fact that not all Asian families are these warm, loving support systems we're supposed to stay loyal to. Some of us grew up in households where shame, criticism, and unrealistic expectations were the norm. If an Asian guy feels more at ease with someone who doesn't share that baggage, that's not self-hate, that's self-preservation. Here's a message to the critics within our own community. To the Asian women who act like we owe them exclusivity, newsflash: you're not entitled to us just because we share the same ethnicity. That's not solidarity, that's entitlement. And to the Asian men who criticize their brothers for dating out, maybe channel that energy into building yourselves up instead of tearing others down. Just a thought. The truth is, most of the outrage around Asian men dating out comes from insecurity. People see it as a rejection of their worth, when in reality it's not about them at all. It's about personal choice. And if your self-worth is tied to what someone else does or doesn't do, that's your problem to fix, not theirs. The real issue here isn't who we date, it's how we're seen and how we see ourselves. For too long, Asian men have been told we're not enough, not masculine enough, not attractive enough, not dominant enough. That stops now. It's time to reclaim our narrative. Start by building yourself up. Hit the gym. Build your body and shatter those stereotypes about weak, skinny Asian guys. Own your success, financial, personal, whatever, and let it fuel your confidence. Master your game. Learn how to communicate, lead, and assert yourself. Masculinity isn't about who you date. It's about how you live. So, am I self-hating if I don't date Asian women? No, I'm self-respecting because I refuse to let anyone else dictate my choices. My dating preferences are mine, and I don't owe anyone an explanation. Not society, not my community, not anyone. At the end of the day, the goal isn't to justify yourself to others. It's to live authentically. Build yourself up. Be proud of who you are. And date whoever you damn well want. Because if you're confident in your worth, the right people, Asian or not, will see it. And to everyone still hung up on the issue, maybe find a hobby, preferably one that doesn't involve micromanaging other people's love lives.